Are we looking to try to center it a little more? It's been good. I've seen worse.
You don't have projectors either, so it's like, but yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm Alex too. Makes it easy. All right, guys. I'm gonna get started. I think a couple of sessions are running behind, so a couple of people still come in, but I'll get started just because I have a lot to cover here. So thank you for joining me today. We're gonna be talking about AI in marketing. So you guys just heard the AI application in the sales funnel. I only called the last half end, but for those that were here for the previous session, that was the sales funnel. This will be more marketing focused. So we're going to be talking about a little bit about the history of ChatGPT and then the marketing application. So specifically, was I blocking the whole time, huh? I gotta stand on the sides a little bit. History of ChatGPT, and then the marketing applications, specifically SEO, social media, and pay-per-click. So a little bit about my background. So I'm the co-founder of Smart Sites. I do a lot in the automotive space. I just wrote a book on automotive search marketing. Wrote it last year, so I wrote it before ChatGPT, the old-fashioned way, where I had to type on the keyboard every single word. I personally wrote every single word in here. There's copies in the back if anyone wants to grab some either now or after the session. It does not really cover generative AI stuff, just because when I wrote it a little over a year ago, it didn't really exist, but it's a lot of marketing stuff that I'm going to be covering a little bit today. And then a little bit about my company, Smart Sites. So we're industry agnostic, not just in automotive, but in every industry. We have 400 full-time employees, been doing this for a good amount of time, since 2011. We're also always growing and doubling in size. So when I presented here last year, we probably had 300, a little under employees. We keep every 18 to 24 months or so, we double. So in 2 years, we'll be at 800. All right, I'm going to jump in. So I'm going to cover a ton. I think I have about an hour session. I'm going to try to cover in 30 minutes for you guys. So I'm going to go quick, but I'm pretty sure you could get the slides after. If not, message me and I'll give you the slides. I'm also recording it, so maybe I'll have doesn't always work out, but hopefully I'll have a recording for you guys as well. I keep blocking the screen. Maybe I should be on the other side. I think this is the better side to be on. So a little bit on the history about the history of ChatGPT. So the growth has been very quick, obviously. The first time I spoke about ChatGPT was a year ago, literally at this conference. That was the first spike you see in all of it. And my background and where I'm coming from with all of this is I don't really have a product to sell around this, right? I'm here just to try to educate folks on how they could use it. For me and for my company, we try to use all of the latest technology to help us grow, because everything we do has to be not only for how do we make our company better with 400 employees, it's how do we make it work with 800, 1600, and so forth, right? So we're always trying to use the latest technology, obviously generative AI being one of them. So my goal for you guys today in the next 30 minutes is to really summarize the ways you could be using generative AI for your business. And this is really automotive dealership centric, this deck. But it's really how you could be using generative AI for your business, no matter what the business is. For our case, we're a marketing agency and we're using it. So that's my goal for you guys. These two slides are actually carried over from last year, but as you guys know, the growth was astronomical. Again, when I wrote my book a little over a year ago, I think in the last couple of pages, I'm like, there's something called ChatGPT coming, watch out for it, right? So it really has been really, really quick growth. Comparing it to other platforms that have grown really, really quick. Obviously, Instagram reached 100 million users in 30 months, and that was considered crazy growth. And one of the reasons Facebook bought it for, I think it was $1 billion they bought it for. TikTok was all over TV and everything, how they were able to grow to 100 million users in 9 months, right? ChatGPT did in 2 months. And if you think about it, not only did it do it quicker, the kind of people using it are different, right? It's very easy to use TikTok. You have a lot of younger folks using it, right? To really use ChatGPT, it's really a more high-level tool, and you have businesses using it. So it's really, really crazy that within 2 months they reached 100 million active users. Timeline-wise, even though ChatGPT itself is fairly new, the company that powers it has been going through GPT variations for a long time. So it's not just, oh, they just came up with it last year and released it, right? The product itself and the model has been a long time in the making. It just got released as a ChatGPT product where you could actually interact with it more recently. And then ChatGPT 4 came out at the end of 23. So 6 months ago at this point. So all of this, the consumer facing parts are fairly new, but the company and the models and the large language models, as they're called, have been in development for a very long time. A lot going on this slide, but I'll just summarize it for you. For those that don't know the difference between, the ChatGPT was the newer iteration. OpenAI calls it ChatGPT Plus. Like you pay, that's the paid version, right? If you use the free version, it's ChatGPT 3.5. Paid version is ChatGPT 4. This kind of compares the data sets and everything. The most relevant for you guys is really, I guess, the chart on the right. So it shows how generative AI, ChatGPT specifically, performed in standardized testing. And the blue line is ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free one you could use from OpenAI. In green is ChatGPT 4. So things like the LSAT and more complex exams that obviously the newer iteration, the paid iteration, perform significantly better. But for this entire deck, all the examples I'm going to be using is for the free version. So for most applications that you guys will be using it for, there's really no huge benefit. Yes, it could score higher in the LSAT, right? But for the most common applications, even the most basic version is fine. This slide, I think, is actually also a year old. I first referenced it last year at this conference. Generative AI, as now we're a year and some months into the whole generative AI craze, continues to be very, very hot, right? Companies that are able to incorporate it in their operations are becoming a lot more efficient. And that's the reason positions like this exist, right? Prompt engineer is a thing now, right? This post is, I think, a year old, but now there's tons more of them. If you go on like a job website and search prompt engineer, this pays $335,000 to be a prompt engineer, right? To like literally, you're not a programmer, you're not writing code, you're literally you're an expert at communicating with generative AI. How crazy is that, right? And this post is from a year ago, but there's just as many now, if not more. So it's companies are starting to realize that those that are able to use generative AI themselves become more efficient, more productive, right? And these jobs exist because there's a huge, huge value that companies can get from incorporating the generative AI and all this technology. So would I recommend you to go to your kids and say, that's it, you're switching majors, you're going to be a prompt engineer? No, I don't think this is something that's going to exist 10 years from now, right? I think 10 years from now, everyone's going to be a prompt engineer. But this just shows how powerful this is, that all these big companies are paying a lot of money to have someone come in and literally teach people how to interact and use AI. All right, so we're going to talk about the marketing applications for generative AI. I know there's been a lot of sessions at this conference for a lot of different ways to use ChatGPT and generative AI. This session is all marketing, so we're going to start with SEO. So block the projector for a second. My book is mostly, it's search marketing. So it's SEO pay-per-click. I literally, and this is pre-ChatGPT, but I literally go through how to figure out how to improve your both SEO and paid search. So with ChatGPT, there's obviously even more efficient ways to do it. I'm going to try to walk you guys through my 1 hour long session on SEO in the next 5 minutes. So this is going to be rapid fire SEO. So for those that don't know, SEO really, especially in the automotive space, if you have a physical location, really breaks down to two different sections, right? You have Google Maps. In the SEO world, people call it Google Local Pack, and you have Google Organic Results. So these two are completely different, and the ranking signals that go into determining how well you rank on both of these are completely different. So, and again, I go into tons more detail on it in my book, but just so we're on the same page, this is SEO. These are the two parts of SEO, and what affects each is very different. This is the current best guess we have at Google's ranking signals at literally what determines how well you rank on Google search. Really, there's two ways to determine them. Number one, obviously the actual algorithm, which no one has access to or knows. But on the same time, the Russian equivalent, Yandex, had their entire algorithm leaked, I think, a little over a year ago. So you could go and see their entire algorithm and try to deduce it from there. The other way to really know these ranking signals is, and where I get this data from, there's an internal survey with SEO professionals within themselves to kind of self-report what they're seeing, and that's where these signals come from, and it's a summary of all of those things. So this is the best representation we're going to have of how well you will rank organically on Google. So I'll take you through it very quick. Again, I do like an hour-long keynote just on this stuff, but I'll try to do rapid fire. So on the left side is your Google Maps, right? So what determines how well your business gonna rank on Google Maps? So number one is your Google My Business profile. Now, used to be GMB, now it's GBP. Makes sense, right? If you don't have a Google My Business profile, you're probably not going to rank at all on Google Maps, right? So that one makes sense. You want to make sure everything's filled out, all the categories, all the information. You keep updating as Google changes it, adds new categories. After that is on-page signals. I'm going to cover that a little bit on the other side, but on-page signals is your technical SEO, and then the quantity and quality of your content. Number two is reviews. So number three is reviews. So reviews is actually interesting. That's the one that's obviously a little bit harder for companies to control. But the interesting note is that it's not only, you obviously want to have 5-star reviews, right? You want to have a lot of 5-star reviews. But the content of the reviews is actually very, very important, probably more important than the actual stars and the how many you have. So an example for you guys is if you're a coffee shop and you sell Colombian coffee and you want to be known for Colombian coffee, if a lot of your reviews mention this coffee shop had really good Colombian coffee, someone goes on Google Maps and searches Colombian coffee, you'll come up higher. So the actual content of your reviews, Google uses as a ranking signal. Obviously, very hard to control. You can't go to your customers like at gunpoint and be like, keep writing that review. I need more content in there. But it's something to be cognizant of, especially as you figure out your review strategy. Popular question I get when I do this as a SEO keynote, the responses to reviews are not a ranking signal. So you can't keyword stuff your response, hoping that you'll start ranking for the things you're responding. Link signals I'll cover on the other side, and then the other things are much smaller. So behavioral is how long they stay on your website, how they interact with your website. Citations are the third-party directories, so the Yelps of the world. They've become obviously a lot less important in the last couple of years. They're still important, right? But a lot less important. And personalization is the hardest to control. That's I don't know, you have someone from Mexico and a Spanish speaker and a Spanish keyboard going to Google search and your website's in Spanish, so it's more likely to come up. So personalization stuff, obviously, you can't control as much, and it's a smaller part. So the right side, you have a lot more control over. So the right side is actually the content that ranks on Google, like the actual pages, not Google Maps. The number one ranking signal is on-page signal. So that's again your technical SEO, but then it's the quantity and quality of your content. Number two is links. So every year that I hear SEO is dead, I hear link building is dead, but it still continues to be one of the most important ranking signals. So content, if you think about it, content gives you an opportunity to come up in search results. So for example, if you're a dealership and you write up a page comparing a Honda Accord with a Toyota Camry, and someone does that search, that page has an opportunity to come up in search results. If you never created that page, your homepage will never rank for that search term, right? Because it's too specific and your homepage is too general. So every piece of content you create is an opportunity to come up in search results. And then link building helps you come up higher. So the more websites that link to you, the more authoritative Google sees you. Obviously, it gets a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the basic structure. You literally create content based on what people are searching. You want to create, obviously, unique content, quality content, and then you get relevant, authoritative websites to link to you, and your content will rank higher. That's literally, and a lot of people saw SEO as like a mystery box. That's literally the formula for SEO, right? Obviously, you want to fix technical things on your website. You want to have citations and stuff, but that's a formula for it. The reason we're going through all of this is after this, I'm going to show you how ChatGPT and generative AI can help you with each parts of your SEO strategy. This is rankings over the years. So blue at the top is your Google business profile. As you could see, it's become more and more important over the years, while citations have become less important. You could see them crossing in 2014. So if you think back to 2014 is 10 years ago now. If you think back 10 years, I think even you guys as individuals would rely on Yelp and third-party sites and directories, the yellow pages of the world, all the third-party websites. Even in the automotive space, there's a lot of like third-party directors. You'd rely on them a lot more. These days, even, so Yelp is still prominent for restaurants, but even for a restaurant, if you think about it, you want to find the steak restaurant here to go tonight in North Carolina, right? You're probably going to go based off Google reviews, not Yelp reviews, right? So Google's become a lot more important for as a ranking signal. Your Google business profile and citations have been going down. Social signals was a popular question I get. And this is, again, this data is based on SEO professional self-reporting within the community. Social signals does not affect your Google rankings. That's a popular small business question we get from clients. If I make a TikTok account, will I rank higher on Google search? Or if I make an Instagram, whatever, it does not affect in any way. It affected it a tiny, tiny bit when Google had their own social network platform. Then having the, what was it, Google Plus, I forget, doesn't exist anymore. That's the only time it affected it. So social is this one on the bottom. Social doesn't impact your Google rankings at all. This is the same information for the organic results below the map. Links and on-page continue to be by far the most important signals. You create unique content, you get other authoritative websites to link to you, and your organic search traffic will increase. There's no question about it. There's no, again, the SEO industry, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's sold very much as a mystery box. Like, we'll do some magic and maybe your traffic will go up. There's really no magic to it. If you follow the ranking signals and invest your time in working on those, your organic traffic is guaranteed to increase. And out of our thousands of clients that we have, there's no one that it doesn't work for. It works for every single industry, every single business. All right, so now we're gonna go through use cases for generative AI. I don't have tons of time, but we'll speed it up even more. So this is site page ideas, and these are all, so again, all these prompts, and this is from a presentation I did for BMW 20 Group. So it's a dealership centric, and it will be a little bit BMW centric. But again, you can apply this for every single kind of business. We apply this for our own marketing agency, and it'll work every single industry. So the prompt is, I don't know how well you could see it. I go in, I say, oh, I think it got cut off. The prompt I asked here is, what pages should a car dealership website have, right? And again, I encourage everyone to go and actually do these and see if you're missing anything, right? If you have a car dealership, you go in and see, man, what pages, maybe I'm missing a page, right? It says, I don't know, inventory pages, homepage, right? I forget where it was, but there's a trade-in page here. Do you have a trade-in page prominently on your website, right? So it could help you generate content ideas. Here's another one. This is for actually writing content. Say you want to create content on your website. Where do you start, right? What kind of content? Let's say you have a blog on your website. You literally go generate a list of blog post ideas for a BMW car dealership in Long Island. And in another presentation I do, I go through all the best ways to use generative AI, but if I have any tidbits for you guys, it's to be as specific as possible, right? And you're always treated people are used to treating Google, and we become all very Google and search centric. Search is kind of a one-way interface. Like, you ask for something and then like you start a new search and you ask for something again, right? With generative AI, it's a conversation. So after this, you could follow up and ask for more specific things. You could ask for the data in a different way. So you really want to interact during this process and not just have one-off questions. List of blog post ideas. So here's literally, and you could say, give me 30 or give me 50, or you could say, give me 5. You could say, focus on springtime, right? So you could literally give very specific details, and ChatGPT in this case will give you content ideas back. Oh man, so this is content ideas. Google's stance on content is actually where it gets very tricky, especially, and it's been highly debated in the SEO community. So last year, February 2023, with ChatGPT becoming very popular and people using generative AI to generate tons of content, Google came out and said that, and this was, by the way, in my book, which came out right before this, I could have sworn that Google would penalize AI content, because there's really very little incentive for Google to reward people creating mass-produced content that's all the same, right? And Google, for those that don't know, actually bought DeepMind, which is an AI company 8 years ago. So believe me that Google knows when content's AI generates. So in my book, I think I said that I think Google will like highlight, like I thought in the search results, it will say like this content's AI generated, right? Google proved me wrong. This is again a year ago. They said that we will continue to reward high quality content regardless of how it's produced. So their guidance was as long as it's high quality, as long as it's unique, they'll continue to reward it regardless whether AI created or not. Obviously, you're not going to have high quality content if you're purely creating it with AI, right? It's going to, if a million people ask ChatGPT to create the same page, everyone will get a million very similar pages. But that was still very surprising to me. And then last month, they finally came out and said that was a bad idea. We will now penalize AI content, right? It wasn't as specific as that, but now they said that it was a blog post they released literally a month ago. And in the blog post, they said, you might have noticed that we're now penalizing AI generated content. The reason for that is we're showing fewer results that's low quality content specifically made for search. So it's still one of those where can you use AI to create content? I think you still can. I think the way we use it hasn't changed. The way we use it is we use ChatGPT to generate ideas and to maybe write a draft and then have human rewrite it and add actually quality. You don't want to. The whole point of this Google update last month is to penalize people creating content for the pure sake of creating content. Google wants you to create content that your users and visitors actually read and benefit from, not just to create a million pages for the sake of creating a million pages. So content's this tricky one. I would be careful with using it because it could swing either way. Google again could say we love AI content, or they could ban all of it. So that's a tricky one. That being said, AI does a really, really, really good job at generate content. Here's an example of write 250 words on the history of the BMW M5. For those who are familiar with M5 and who have very good vision and could read this, could skim through, but it does an amazing job. If you had an intern at your company and you said your job for today is to research and write the history of the BMW M5, I don't think it would be as good, right? And I specifically asked for 250 words. I could have asked for 2,500 words. This was generated in 2 seconds, right? Yes. Yeah, so this is the way we do it. We start off with, maybe we'd start off something like this, and then we would have like a human actually add some more maybe examples of how like the car evolved, like you want to have a little bit of a human touch. And for those that have been reading AI generated articles, you'll notice they'll sound like AI generated article. You want it to have a little bit more of a human feel, and at the same time, you want Google not to penalize you for having AI generated content. Yeah, the original, exactly. So the way we've been using it is literally you do a first draft with it, then a human rewrites it, then you put it back into ChatGPT, then another editor checks it again. So initially, when all of this came out a year ago, we were like, this is great. We're going to be twice more efficient now, 4 times more efficient. We're going to be able to generate, because we create a lot of content. We have 3,000 SEO clients. Even if we create 20 pages a month each, we're creating like millions of pages a year, right? So we were like, oh, this is great. We're going to be so much more efficient. We'll either be able to charge less or create twice more. But in the end, we're actually still coming out about net even because we're using ChatGPT to create better content and get ideas, but we're still not just blankly using what it generates. Yes?
Quick question. So we talk about SEO. Is Google they starting to emerge?
Oh man, that's a good one. I have it in 5 slides. But to answer your question, Google still, Bing more so follows than leads. But it's changed a little bit, and there was a lot of, I'll tell you, if you don't mind, in 5 slides. Geez, in another deck I do how to use ChatGPT. You could actually ask for different styles, and that's actually how it differentiates your content. So again, for you guys to go home and play around with, but same thing, right? The history of the BMW M5, right? Write the history of the BMW M5 in the style of Shakespeare. You could ask for it to write any style because literally it's a generative AI large language model. It knows everyone's styles, and it could apply different writers' styles to different content. So it goes in the realm of Bavaria where the river Isar flows, right? It's literally, I don't know if everyone could read it. While the engine of power and handling so true, the M5 conquered all in all that I knew. right? It's literally, it could write any, and this is instantly. It's not like it goes and like translate content in 2 seconds. It just, so you could use different styles to create more unique content. But again, I wouldn't just dump this on a website and use it. For link building, it's a little bit more difficult to use AI, but you could get, so again, link building is to get other websites to link to you. Google's guidelines is you can't purchase links, you can't trade links, so they want to naturally have people link to you. Our company, when we do link building, it's literally what I would call link building outreach. So we find websites that link to your competitors, and then we bug those websites to link to you. And like call them, like fax them, send them letters, right? That's true link building. But just to get you started on link building here, what are the most popular local automotive directories in Long Island, right? It'll tell you, by the way, so ChatGPT is, for those that don't know, ChatGPT has a core language model that's vetted, that has vetted information. And then outside of it, it's especially the beta now could grab from the internet, but the core model of that information isn't super recent. So I'll tell you, in my latest update since January 2022, and by the way, I did this a month ago. So even a month ago, their core data model is a couple of years old. So although there are a lot of good use cases for ChatGPT, right? Getting most recent things probably isn't one of them. But here are 5 automotive website directories, right? So for your link building, I want to get other websites to link to you. Very good place to start. You could ask similar questions about your local market and industry. Reputation management is great. I don't know, for anyone who's not using generative AI for reputation management, I would highly recommend it. Reputation management, I would consider replying to reviews online and replying to customers also, right? We've helped a couple of dealerships implement this at an internal operations level, like when customers email them pissed off, nasty emails, right? That kind of operations. I promise you, generative AI will do a better job responding to that customer than anything that manager, general manager, whoever it is will be able to do, right? It takes all emotion out of it. And it literally, this is a positive one, but via response, and I copy paste this from, this is a Google review, I copy paste. Via response to this review that someone left on Google, right? It literally, for those, again, they have good vision and can read this, it takes every part of the review that person left and it highlights the positives in a way that it wants another person to come to your dealership, right? Very powerful stuff. There's also a study done that shows that when people research reviews, like of your business, no matter what business you're in, you're more likely to gain a customer not from your 5-star reviews and responses to your 5-star reviews, but your responses to your 1-star reviews. A lot of times people will specifically look at your worst reviews and see how the business responded. So super, super powerful to use this both in operations and to respond to your reviews on Google. I think we're reaching the end, so I'm gonna have to go even faster now. Social media, so on Google, obviously creating content is risky. Google might ban it, whatever it is. Social media, absolutely zero risk, right? So huge, huge applications for social media. Write 100 words worth of Facebook ad copy for a BMW car dealership in Long Island looking for technicians. And this is an actual case. We had a client who said, we want to hire people. Can you help me write a blog post on social media? Literally, like it does the hashtags. It like, we'll do everything for you. Right? Before you would have like an intern or a junior person sit there like for 6 hours, like typing all of these up. I could say, write me 8 posts, right? And right away, the reason I have a star here, in my previous screenshot, I told it that I'm doing this for competition BMW. I didn't mention competition BMW in my question at all, but ChatGPT knew because it's a conversational tool. So just from the conversation I was having with it, it knew that that's what I was talking about. Twitter, write 5 funny tweets about working at BMW, your car dealership in Long Island. Again, this is the job where you'd have junior folks spend half their day or whole week like generating social media content, right? And there's no penalties for this. It's not like Google where it's duplicate content or the same content or AI generate content. And I promise you, it'll do a better job than 95% of the people out there. Same for TikTok. Oh, TikTok, it's good. Again, so here I asked for most popular hashtags. Again, it warns you that my data is not the most recent, but it actually gives you hashtags and explains them, right? So for those that are doing TikTok or might not be super familiar with it, you don't want to use a hashtag that means the wrong thing, right? Like there's a lot of ways to ruin your brand image. It literally shows you the hashtags and explains them. Image creation. So ChatGPT does not create images, but Copilot does. For anyone that has Windows, if you're using Edge, or if you update Windows to the latest version, I don't know if it'll let me see my screen. It comes built in, and you could literally ask it to. This is for the same post where I asked to write me content for a Facebook post, right? With a Facebook post, you need some images. I literally said, create me images of technicians working at BMW Service Bay, right? And creates the images. You don't need to go like buy stock images or photography or try to find images. And again, it's a model that you could keep talking to. Even with Bing Copilot, you literally could respond after it and even suggest you like some responses. Can you add a BMW logo to the image, right? And it'll automatically generate images for you. There's also now generative AI tools that automatically will generate video for you. So not only images, but video can be generated on the fly with generative AI. This is Copilot. Copilot is free again, either with Edge, or if you have Windows, you want to go to settings, updates, and you want to subscribe to the beta channel, and then you'll get it for free also. I could show you for video, all the tools are paid. Yeah, there's a bunch now. That where's my clicker? Geez. PPC, I'm going to have to go even quicker. Now, every section we'll pick up the pace. This is your question to Bing. So when ChatGPT came out, Microsoft's integration with it prompted 100 million people to sign up for the beta version of Edge. I don't remember the last time 1 million people were excited about anything Microsoft produced. Maybe like when Windows 95 came out. I don't know if you guys have seen the video of Steve Ballmer on stage dancing. If you haven't, go on YouTube later, search Steve Ballmer dancing. With the Windows 95 release, he was like on stage and people were excited. I think that's the last time. So everyone's really, really excited about Microsoft. They haven't gained, their market share ticked up a little bit. I can't say it's revolutionary, but there's a huge opportunity for them that they're trying to exploit. And they've been doing more things correctly than Google in the last 12 to 18 months. So fingers crossed. This is Copilot. So this is a lot of applications of Copilot, and why I think Microsoft will have a lot of opportunities here. So if you have Copilot, I went to this car and driver review, and literally in Copilot, I asked it to summarize the article for me. Copilot can also interact with your Microsoft products, Microsoft Word, Excel, and so forth. So you literally could ask it to help you on your day-to-day basis, right? As you're reading information, you could say, summarize this article and email it to this person. I have a lot of PPC stuff. I'll go really, really quick. Campaign ideas. So you can ask it what kind of campaigns I should be running. Literally, it shows you 15 different campaigns you should be running for your car dealership. So very good thought starter to have conversations with whoever does your pay-per-click, whether it's an agency or person. Maybe you should be running, I don't know, call-only ads, right? So a good way to kind of think through what you should be running. Amazing for ad copy. Again, similar to social media, you don't get penalized for it, right? Create 5 performance marketing ad copy ideas for competition BMW.com. Literally creates me ad copies, right? Are these going to be perfect and I could just use them out of the box? Probably not, but this gives you so much to go from versus yourself trying to figure out what ad copy you should be using. Keyword ideas, right? For those of you that are doing PPC campaigns yourself, give me a list of buyer intent keywords for a BMW car dealership. It gives me like 1 billion, right? I cut it off, it was like 300. On my next response, I said, organize those keywords into ad groups. There you go. Here they are in ad groups. Here's your campaign that you could go build in Google Ads with these ad groups for the BMW campaign. And a lot of the agencies that do automotive PPC already have keywords, but they're using templated keywords from like 5 years ago when the template was made. So regardless, this is great to use. You could get much more advanced. Can you write me a code of Google App script that grabs a call report from Google Ads for the last 90 days, given a set of Google Ad ideas? So it'll literally give you code, tell you how to implement it. You no longer have to be a programmer. It'll literally, this is the code, go implement it. Once you implement it and run it, it'll show you all the calls that your Google Ads campaign generated, and it will show you what ad generated what calls automatically. Magic. I'm sorry? It gives you this, and if you scroll down, it says you use it in Google Scripts within your Google Ads account. Gets even better. Write me a Google Ad script that lists all landing pages on a Google Sheet, checks the status code of them in column B, tell me how to run the script on a routine daily, and I want an email for all pages that are 404 or other status code. I promise you, if you're running Google Ads, at some point in the last 12 months, you ran ads to a page that didn't exist. Google Ads themselves catches things that are 404, not found, like you were advertising a car that you sold and it's not on your website anymore, or maybe you updated the URL to your trade-in page, or you changed the service integration and your service URL is now different. Google Ads could catch it, but a lot of times they won't because the status code on the website doesn't get reported in a way they could catch it. This on a daily basis will generate a list of all the pages you're sending traffic to. And I promise you there's a couple that are going to be in there that you don't know you're even sending traffic to, and it's going to check it daily and tell you which ones are not working. Right? Before, this was like a task for a PPC analyst to spend 2 hours a day on. This will do it automatically. Not only that, but you don't have to be a programmer. This is the code to run the script on a routine daily. You can set up a trigger in Google Apps Scripts. Here are the setup steps. And it'll give you all the steps on how to do it. I think that was rapid fire, but that's the end. Artificial intelligence today is like the internet boom in 1995. These are a bunch of tools that, as of 3 months ago, still existed that do generative AI stuff. So you could take a picture of this slide. The industry is moving really, really quick. There were times where I put this slide up and people are like, oh, that company doesn't exist anymore. So yes, finish it. Yes, that was the last slide. There's a reason generative AI pays this kind of money. It's super important. It could create huge efficiencies. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you could just scan the QR code. It'll connect with me on LinkedIn, and copies of my book in the back. Sorry that was so quick, but thank you, everyone.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
One of the big things, AI generated descriptions, like vehicle descriptions,
Yes.
to optimize SEO.
Yes.
How effective do you feel like that's been? Because you were saying that they kind of flag it to.
Yeah, it's gonna be very generic. They're gonna be good for people reading them. Is it gonna be good for Google indexing? Maybe, maybe not. But when's the last time like a VDP ranked on Google anyway? Like you search if I search a 2023 Honda Accord right now, top 30 results will not be a VDP page. So Google will not rank that. I think regardless how you put them, it'll be like an Edmunds research page on that model. Even SRP is very hard to rank. Have you had SRP pages rank? Not top 10.
No, I mean you have to go in.
Correct.
The actual
correct. So the approach then, let's say you have a Honda Accord that you want a SRP page for all your Honda Accords. You want that to rank. You create a separate page, Honda Accord research page, to go in some really unique content in there. Maybe model history of the Honda Accord. Create a new page, completely new page, and that will rank for Honda Accord.
A new search page.
Page on your website, just a content page. Okay. Model history of the Honda Accord. That will rank. Your SRP and VDP, regardless of how you generate the content, will not. So not only because it's AI generated and not only because it's very generic content, but your VDP content is also going to be in a lot of other places.
So the trick here is using the SEO, is maximizing SEO to draw to the
correct
to drive the traffic
to your website. You're
never going to get specific to SRPs and VDPs. Right?
Yeah, so I would completely give up on trying to generate organic traffic to SRPs and VDPs and just think about what search do I want to come up with.
The name of the game is to draw the traffic to the web
correct
page.
And you want to create unique content that reflects what people are searching for. So you have a lot of Honda Accords. You think about or ask ChatGPT.
How do I drive?
You ask what people are searching for when they search a Honda Accord. And maybe they're searching comparisons, Honda Accord versus Toyota Camry. Perfect. So you create content around that. You create the comparison pages.
So you would literally add a page of the history of the Honda Accord to your actual site.
Absolutely.
And that page would drive the SEO traffic to your site.
Absolutely. Or you start doing here. I'll show you an example.
You're not really driving the SEO to your specific your ad to your actual product. You're driving
for
it
SEO.
To your site, and the customers are finding what they want.
Correct. Let me show you a really quick example of not on the projector, so you have to look here. Specification. I wonder why it doesn't show up on the projector. So for these guys, they wanted, and you could come look too. Nothing proprietary. Wow, where did research go? Jeez, this is terrible when it drops off like this. So they
created a bunch of.
We did this for them.
Further core product.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this is more likely to come up, or you go into where are the comparison pages.
So how do you drive more site traffic to these pages?
So
You put the content in these pages. That
so each
people are searching.
So each content gives you an opportunity to show up in search results. And I'll show you some service centric stuff too. Each page gives you an opportunity to come up in search results, and then you have to get other websites to link to you so you come up higher. So, and this is service related. So you create pages like this for service. It's literally every piece of content is opportunity to come up in search results. So, do you have a faulty Nissan starter? If you did not create this page, nothing on your website will ever rank for someone searching, do I have a faulty Nissan starter?
So we have two Volkswagen franchises. The ID Buzz, the electric bus, is like all the rage. There's so much media around it. So if we created something like ID Buzz News or something like
Absolutely.
that,
Comparisons. I'm sure people are comparing them to other products, EV articles.
But just that would help to drive. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
Something that's a very hot product in
absolutely.
Anticipation.
So people are already searching, and another good tool to use is, I don't know if you've used it, Google Trends. It's literally trends at Google. You could look up.
I have ID Buzz.
You could see. Did I spell something wrong? It's ID.buzz, right?
Yeah.
Surprising. I think this is on daily view, right? Yeah, we gotta do a longer view. So you could see if it actually is a lot of search volume. I mean, based on this, it's not a lot. A lot of times you think there is, but like there's a lot of media around it, but
not really. Okay.
Not really.
So you need to find.
You want to validate the theories,
and then get in there and find what's creating a lot of traffic.
Correct. And then create content around it.
Create content around it. That's going to help you guys.
Exactly. It's got to get the traffic to your website.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. Good information.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm very interested in this space, and it's still it's kind of so foreign to us. We're just trying to figure out what applications to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are complimentary?
Yes. Grab one. Absolutely. Grab as many as you want. I'd rather not bring more on the plane. Yeah, let me turn off the camera over there, and then I'll shoot you the presentation.
Thank you.
Yep, no worries.